This is Old Bangalore, the way Bangalore used to be. Many people call it Bangalore's best kept secret. And lots of people ask me, why is it called Old Bangalore? Well, really, this is the way Bangalore used to be, very laid back, very friendly, sophisticated in its simplicity. Lots of people call it the Garden City, some people call it Pensioners' Paradise, some people call it the pub capital of India. But what was really good was that Bangalore was a very unhurried place, very little traffic till IT came calling. And that happened in the early 80s and started Bangalore's deterioration into a metropolis. From a little town that was friendly to becoming a crowded city. So this Old Bangalore is a throwback to the time when Bangalore was a laid back place. One could come here, relax, enjoy a short vacation without having to drive long distances. Would you believe it? We didn't have a single tree in 2004, and today we are probably Bangalore's greenest resort. It's just one of the many things that informs the design of Old Bangalore. And when we talk of design, Old Bangalore has been designed through the ESG design filter. ESG standing for environment, society and governance. The first parameter that we look at while designing Old Bangalore is, can we make this place better than we find it? We found this place without a single tree. And we said, okay, planting a few trees would make a significant difference to the way it was. Next, we thought about society. What can it do as a resort to enhance the lives of people who work in it? And on the governance side, what can we do as a small resort for what ails our country? Our biggest import bill is energy. Can we build a resort that is low on energy? And that's a path that India must follow, a low energy path to development. It wasn't so long ago, just maybe less than 1 million years ago, that human beings were at the bottom of the food chain. This transition to the top of the food chain has translated into human beings thinking they have a right to destroy everything that comes in their path. Old Bangalore is a recreation of how we must live on earth with anthropology, a reminder that human beings are the last entrants on earth. Every animal, insect, birds, flowers, all these have been here before us, and we are in their space. So when we found this place without a single tree, the first thought that came to us through the environmental part of the ESG design is that can we first make a home for these creatures before we build something for ourselves? Every little bit of Old Bangalore has been given tremendous amount of thought. Let's just look at the entry. We are thinking not only of people like me and you who are able to walk up steps. We also thought way back then, before ramps became popular or compulsory, about how will a person in a wheelchair get and experience this resort. Every place in Old Bangalore has ramps. Anywhere you want to go into the swimming pool, you've got steps that lead into the pool. So this is one of the things we thought about, that it's not just about able-bodied people. After all, resorts can have people who come with all kinds of ailments and all kinds of deficiencies. The scientific advancement of the human mind has been so relentless over the last 30 to 40 years that today we are not restricted by what we can design. We can design almost anything we can imagine. So the moral question is, should we design just because we can? Or should we have another parameter for design? The ESG design filter is a very good filter to use to answer that question. Should we design just because we can? And when you come to that, you find if it's environmentally damaging, let's not design it, even though we can. If it is socially damaging, let's not design it, even though we can. And if it has an adverse effect in governance, let's just let it be. So when you look at this building, what we thought on the environmental side is, let us design a building with material from within 100 kilometers here. What that does to us as a nation is, we stop transporting material hundreds and thousands of kilometers, and that will have a significant impact on India's highest import bill, that is energy. So when you walk through this building, you would see that all the walls are mud taken from our basement and baked in the sun. So it hasn't been transported, and it hasn't used another non-renewable resource like coal, which is usually used to fire up bricks. But what it also does is keeps temperatures down. The temperatures that we get here are less than 28 degrees no matter how hot it is outside. So that helps us reduce air conditioning. We have a 45,000 square feet building in which we have air conditioning in about 600. So this is a place where people must come with their families, let the children take a look around, and it definitely has an impact on what those children will design in the future. The walls are made of mud, like I said. The flooring is Syrah tiles, which is just about 100 kilometers from Bangalore. You are very unlikely to find anything that's from more than 100 kilometers away. So then let's talk about the pool, a big attraction at Olde Bangalore. One might well ask, what's so different about this pool? It's another 25-meter, 6-lane competition pool. But yes, our pool is very different. Would you believe it? It's been made ground up. We didn't dig a single inch to make this pool. Unbelievable, do you say? What we did is we used the slope of the land. Our land slopes from north to south, and we put the shallow end in the north and the deep end in the south without digging a single inch. We built the tank up, and the sides of the tank, in keeping with what is now called Swachh Bharat, we brought the debris, construction debris from both the villages and all the plastic waste we could find, and the sides of this pool are all the debris that we dumped there and sealed. We got filtration systems in that were so efficient that we have one of the lowest chlorine content pools in the country. You're very unlikely to have red eyes or itching arms once you come out of this pool. So what you see behind me was a barren landscape without a single tree just 15 years ago. Why was Bangalore called Garden City? You think when we were growing up, everybody had huge gardens? No. Bangalore was called Garden City because Bangalore's trees flowered. Whenever somebody visited Bangalore, there was some tree or the other in bloom 365 days a year. And that is the real reason why Bangalore was called Garden City. So in recreating Bangalore, it was important for us to plant what we call Bangalore's trees, which means each species should have been here for at least 100 years. So it was an exercise in selecting only those trees which are endemic, which have been here for at least 100 years. And what use is that? These are the trees that birds and insects would know as an habitat. Any alien tree, it would take years and years for any bird or tree to look at it as an habitat. And the effect has been we have more than 35 species of birds, over 1,000 species of insects that we've documented in just these 15 years. And that must be a significant contributor to our belief that we are the last entrants on earth and we must live here with an apology to all other creatures. Now, indoor recreation is something everybody looks forward to on a vacation. Now, while we have pool, billiards, table tennis, carom, a card room, even an indoor shooting range. Now, we are now standing on the badminton court, and this is built in the basement of the Olde Bangalore building. From the design standpoint, you would notice two significant things here. We are in the basement and there is no use of artificial lighting, because we have used design parameters where we know that India is in the northern hemisphere, the earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees, and therefore if we have large northern windows like we look here, we don't need any light in the basement. You're not going to get any heat, you're going to get plenty of light. All the mud that came out of excavating this basement has been used in making this building. The whole building is mud from the basement, baked in the sun. One of the big contributors to a great holiday experience is service, a factor that's often overlooked on most resorts and hotels in India. Now, how do we get great service from employees? But the realization the management must have that without the employees, they are nothing. At Olde Bangalore, we carried out an experiment. We said, let's remove basic needs from the lives of our employees. Let's give them the roti, kapda, makan free. All our employees have free food 365 days a year, all meals, whether on duty or not. They have free furnished accommodation. The uniform supplied by us, even laundered by us each day, so that the quality of the uniforms is great. They even share in 5% of the revenue. Revenue, mind you, not profit. They share 5% of the revenue each month. This gives them an impression that this is a place they own, and that translates into the hundreds, thousands of accolades we receive for the service of our staff. What does this do on the social side? After all, most of employees come from disadvantaged backgrounds: financial disadvantage, educational disadvantage, social disadvantage. We started a skill development program here, an informal skill development program, right at the beginning of the resort. The first thing we did is we promised never to have a contract employee. We're probably the only outfit in India, including, I might say, the government of India, that has never had a contract employee. All employees are permanently employed on day one. They have provident fund, insurance, health insurance, the whole works. What this does for them, when you remove the basic needs of food, clothing and shelter from expenditure, is they probably have one of the highest ratios of disposable income to total income probably in the world. Great food is a huge contributor to the quality of a vacation. Ask anybody who's been on vacation and he will tell you whether the food was great or not and whether they really enjoyed the vacation. Now at Olde Bangalore, we are sitting in our restaurant. We call it South Parade, which is the old name for Bangalore's MG Road. Now this is a semi-fine dining restaurant where we also pay careful attention to the fact that our employees mustn't learn wrong practices. They must learn how it is in a five-star environment where they may go on from here for employment. Every dish that is served in Olde Bangalore is cooked only after it's been ordered. We also encourage our guests into the kitchen and see their dishes being made from ingredient stage. So fresh food can't get fresher than you get at Olde Bangalore, and this is a fact most of our patrons acknowledge. Come, let's take a tour of our kitchen. It's a multi-cuisine kitchen. We have about 29 people who work just in the kitchen. From the areas for continental and Indian cooking to Thai and Chinese cooking, these are the tandoors. These are the areas where we make sandwiches and fruit juices. We have a butchery next door. We go through the areas where all the cleaning is done, all the vessels are washed, into the stores. And from the stores, we come out and we can go into the back areas. These are not areas that any hotel in the country is going to allow guests into. We have no out-of-bounds boards anywhere, enabling our guests to come and see the kitchen operations and experience how a kitchen operates. On weekdays, Olde Bangalore is a resort of preference for corporates for their training needs. But on weekends and holiday time, Olde Bangalore is transported to a different world where families use it for family reunions, school get-togethers, weddings, and other events. In today's supercharged work environment, stress is one of the biggest silent killers. We recognize this at Old Bangalore, and to help people who come here de-stress and rejuvenate, we also have a sound healing session done using Tibetan singing bowls. So is Old Bangalore only a resort where you may go for a vacation? That of course it is. But what's really eye-catching about Olde Bangalore is the fact that this is a recreation of the way Bangalore used to be. So visit to Old Bangalore is not really another visit to a resort. It is an educational tour while you enjoy yourself. And our tour through this place through one of our employees is well worth it.